here's a new big box of 45s for $20. It's looking like stuff I'm not going to pay $20 for. But we have to dig and see what we find. Oh, there's a bunch of these old color-coded ones with like worn-off labels and the like. So I barely started with the looking up stuff on Discogs, and in the box it's going to be worth more than 20, and I haven't even looked up most of the stuff. I'm going to buy it and look up the rest at home. So I bought the $20 box of junk 45 records. There's a bunch of unused company sleeves in here. There's some weird flexies. Most of these records are in terrible condition. I bought the box because literally the second record I looked up, this School Bell Rock by Roy Brown, is worth 2 to 3 times more than this entire box. And there are several others that I think could be similar categories, so this could be a real score. I know they don't look great. So a bunch of them are just going to get thrown away, but some of them should clean up and play nicely.
24 hours later.
Hey, welcome to Chris Finds Things. So Chris bought a $20 box of 45 RPM records, and most of them are from like the 50s and early 60s, so I'm going to make sort of a Mike Finds Things style video about what I found. And so let's show you. Here's the big old box that I found. So at some point this person had bought these 15 records for $1. There are 3 different Bobby Sherman back of cereal box things, some other flexi discs, approximately 150 45s. A lot of them are hopeless in terms of it's like Bing Crosby or something in very bad situation. But as you saw when I was in the store, I actually found enough of these that were worthwhile to buy the box and to make a video out of it. And so doing it sort of Mike Finds Things style. So I'm going to look them up, kind of tell you the values of them as I go through them. These are in basically a random order. So the first one, let me get my positioning right here. So we got Bobby Marchand, There's Something on Your Mind, 1965 records, R&B soul, low $1, median 5, high of 12. The second one, and this is the one that actually sold me on buying this, was this Roy Brown Schoolhouse Rock, 1959 on King Records, R&B, low 16, median 30, high 40, currently selling on Discogs for 70 and up. This is literally the second record I looked up on my phone at the store when I was deciding whether I was going to buy this $20 box or not, because usually the box is where it's buy all for a price. It's usually everything's crap and you don't buy it, but this time I did buy it. Third one I bought, and again, a lot of these were promos. Most of them were from the like 1955 to 1960. A few stragglers from later in the 60s along the way. A lot of them ended up having the name Alicia written on them. Wondering if like Alicia's dad worked at like the radio station and got these. So this is Boyd Bennett and his Rockets, 17, and My Boy Flat Top. So 1955 Rockabilly, low 6, median 11, high 40. Several of these on the Everest label. So we got Randy Lee with The Question, 1960 Everest Pop, low 25, median 34, high 35. And again, most of mine are probably going to be more on the low end because most of them are VG, G plus sort of condition stuff, although I've been sending them through the Hummin Guru. We got the Acorns, Please Come Back, 1959 on Unart. It's a doo-wop, another promo, low $1, median 9, high of 10. We got on Chess Records, Jerry Mason, You Are Lonely, Rock and Roll from 1960, low $1, median 4, high of 10. And let me... I got a computer with my notes over there. Federal Records here. We've got... lost my place. Oh, The Lamplighters, Hug a Little, Kiss a Little, 1955 rock, low 15, median 23, high 25. We've got the first of some Sun records that I found. So this is the Sunrays with Love is a Stranger, 1958 rock and roll, low 42, median 45, high 55. Barbara Pittman was part of this group. We got Darwin and the Cupids with Goodbye My Love from 1960 on Jordan's doo-wop, low $1, median 4, high 8, so not one of the more valuable ones. And there's a lot of them I'm not showing you either. Some I haven't even bothered to look up. We've got the Checkers with White Cliffs of Dover, 1960 Federal R&B, low 3, median 3, high 3. So I guess there's probably only been a single copy that's ever sold. Dot Records, the Talisman, 1960, sort of early surf. The song on the flip song is called Surfin' Man, which is kind of actually the one that drew my attention. Jailbreak on the A side, low 2, medium 5, high 30. Here's an unusual one. We've got Guy Zumo with Love Light and Fantabulous, another Everest promo. Discogs says rock and roll, but it's pretty loungy and poppy. Never sold, not listed on Discogs. According to Discogs, this is Guy's only record, but I did find there was like a Guy Zumo Facebook fan page, and apparently he was like a lounge singer. I think he was with like Paul Marriott for a while. So, and it's not a very good record, but I did get it. More on Everest. We've got Randy Lee again. Second one by Randy Lee. This one's called Solitary Confinement. Rock and roll from 1960. Low 4, median 6, high 10. Co-ed records. We've got the Rockefellers with Counting the Days and Night Party. And so 1959, rock and roll, rockabilly, another promo, low 6, median 8, high 15. And of course, we all know about Johnny Cash, but I usually don't find Johnny Cash on Sun. Johnny Cash and the Tennessee 2, The Story of a Broken Heart. Country from 1960, low 2, median 2, high 2. So this particular pressing hasn't sold much, but obviously it would have been a big seller. A rarer Sun record that I got, and this is a Sun promo. Tony Rosine, I Gotta Know Where I Stand. 1960 rockabilly vocal, probably more on the vocal side. Low 20, median 20, high 30. The non-promo of this is actually worth more. We got the Hustlers. This is going to be 1964, so a little bit later than we've seen. Cop Out and Migraine on Downey Records. This Surf, low 30, median 35, high 40. And again, I have the promo, and this is another one where the non-promo version is worth more. We got Lorenzo and the Four Stars with A Man and First Things First on Cap Records. Doo-wop from 1961. And single copy selling for $4. This is cool because Ray Smith is local to my area. I found his records before, but never one of his Sun records. So Sun 1958, some rockabilly, So Young. Low 5, median 35, high 77. So I'm guessing the low 5 was probably one in just terrible shape. And then one of the coolest finds, some of you will think this is the coolest find. So this is the Music Machine. So now we're skipping up to 1967. The Eagle Never Hunts the Fly. On original sound label, this is garage rock, and it's really psyche. People have described this as like proto punk and proto metal, and it is. It's like nothing else in this collection. Low 5, median 47, high 125. People are definitely selling this one for quite a bit. And this is actually one of the ones, fortunately for me, one of the ones in the entire box that was in the best shape as well. Usually the most desirable ones ends up being in the worst shape. And then here's a oddity. Oh, there was a hummingbird. If I could have changed the direction in time, you guys would have seen a hummingbird, but we had the camera on me. So Palace Records, we've got Lori and Paul Christopher, and you'll notice that Lori Christopher on lead guitar was age 9. So this is from 1970. I think it's the latest one in this entire collection. Not on Discogs. There was a record by her on Discogs from 1971. So you got Folsom Prison Blues, a Johnny Cash cover, and Golden Rock, and a Hank Snow cover. So just a young lady doing some covers. And then this is probably the highest value one I found, and I didn't even pick this one out on my first pass through. But this is Billy Lee Riley, and labeled here as Bill Riley with "Is That All to the Ball, Mr. Hall?" and "Rockin' on the Moon" on the other side. So this is rock and roll rockabilly from 1958 on the Brunswick label. Low 141, median 147, high 152. Not much of a spread there, and so even though mine's not in that great of shape, I don't think the other ones that have been sold are in that great of shape either. And we've got, there's a few I forgot to pull here, but we've got Wanda Jackson here. Mean Mean Man from 1960, so it's a little bit late for the good Wanda Jackson, but there's still a tinge of rockabilly. It's not pure straight country yet. This pressing hasn't sold. The other ones are like $5-ish or so records, but I never really turned down a relatively early Wanda Jackson. One I forgot to pull is the OJ's Don't You Want a True Love, so a soul record on Bell from 1969. I've got it in the company sleeve in pretty good shape. It's a median $19 record, but I forgot to pull that one. Or wait, I think I might actually have it here. Let's see. Some of the records, there was a group of records that were from like stuff like this that were, now this was actually from 1972, the Scholastic. So you got stuff like by Bob Dylan and John Lennon and the Beatles and James Taylor and Creedence Clearwater Revival. Okay, so here's that OJ's record that I was telling you about here. And again, it's one of the ones that's in good shape. I think it's one of the ones that this person had gotten in like that 15 singles for $1 box. And there was stuff by like the Turtles and stuff like that as well. And those tended to be in better shape. Most of those early records, the ones from the late 50s, early 60s, they've all been played a lot, and you can tell. But I think at some point they basically got set aside. Okay, we're almost done here. A few more that I think are halfway interesting. So we got Dean Hawley, Like a Fool on a Door. Some pop from 1960. Low 18, median 25, high 25. We got some Eda James, My Dearest Darling, and Tough Mary on the Argo label. So that's going to be R&B soul from 1960, low 6, median 10, high of 20. One that I didn't really think was going to be anything, but ended up being a lot more interesting than I thought, is this record by Nora and Linda, Carved Upon My Disc, 1958 on the Radio Records label from Malibu. And this is like young ladies doing rockabilly. I mean, it's not the coolest rockabilly ever, but and then on the other side you've got the song Doody Oodle Dee Doo, I'm in Love. And so it's like a low 10, median 15, high 20. currently selling for 36 and up. And then another sort of outlier in the box, you've got Herbie Mann's Afro Jazz, Ruhu, 1960, Atlantic promo, some Afro-Cuban jazz before Herbie took off his shirt in the 1970s. Low 5, median 8, high 13. We've got, I got a bongo that reminds me of Richard Feynman and Sheldon Cooper. Jack Costanzo, I got a bongo, 1959, Liberty label, sort of space age, loungy sort of music. I listen to it, it's actually really corny. Low 5, median 9, high 25. Like really corny vocals. They should have just played the drums. A real oddity here is this one right here. So it's labeled as Daisy May and Little Abner with the names Robert and Ione Soul down below. And then it's just a couple of standard country covers. Today I Start Loving You Again by Merle Haggard on one side, and then Harbor Valley PTA, the Jeannie C. Riley song on the other side. And again, this is one looking up on Discogs and 45 Cat. I couldn't find any information at all about that record, so that one I'm pretty much in the dark about. And then probably the second to the last one I'm going to show you here is on Star Day. This one's not in great shape, but so we've got Harlan and Stanley and the Wright brothers. I don't think it's Orville and Wilbur Wright. Carolina Mountain Home, some bluegrass from 1957. This version's never sold, but there are people that are offering it online. $25 in good condition and $140 in VG Plus. Mine's more on the $25 line of that. And then the last thing I'm going to show you, we had some colored vinyl. So we have Roy Rogers cowboy songs on this yellow vinyl. I think yellow is generally the kids' color. And a kids' record on red vinyl with like Peter and the Wolf. This is like one of those early RCA Victor classicals that's the label's really worn away. Some Chopin. But what we wanted you to look at was these 3 yellow translucent records. They're all on J&J Records, which was a polka label out of Chicago. Little Wally and the Harmony Boys, I think it was basically his label. They're all holiday songs from 1960. They all list on Discogs for about $4. So you got Santa Claus is Coming to Town, How Lovely is Christmas on that one. And then you've got Dance Around the Christmas Tree. And then for New Year's Eve, you got Auld Lang Syne. And then the last one has Oh Christmas Tree and Merry Christmas Mom and Dad. So I have fresh new Christmas records I've never listened to before. I know it's July as I'm filming this, but I can hold on to those until December. So there you go. That's an episode of Chris Finds Things, finding rockabilly and doo-wop and soul and garage and the like, not in Southern California like Mike Frankovich, but here in Western Kentucky.